Hello and welcome to Real Hi-Fi Help. Let's discuss why audio streaming is stuck in the Stone Age. So, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I made this other video here in getting into detail on how to improve the overall DAC sound that we have on the market, how we could improve the design of it. It's kind of related to this video where I'm going to cover this here. Before in that video, you might want to have a look at that video first, but this is like the traditional setup of a streamer where I kept on adding some extra parts. So basically, we just to kind of recap, streaming online service, this could be Spotify, Tidal, whatever. Then it goes over to your router. We just call it your router. And then it goes over to like your streamer where you have the songs either on your hard disk storage or your NAS drive, which is like an external hard disk server thingy. And then it goes like from the streamer over to your DAC amplifier and speakers, And then I suggested, in order to improve this whole market that we're in right now, that we put these LPSUs on our boxes, our router, our streamer, all of these other boxes to improve the signal, to boost the signal. So we're not reliant on gear that is like really expensive, really good, okay? We're kind of more in control of our own gear, and we can like modify and tweak the sound a lot more, because you also have to think about each of these LPSU, which is like power boxes to our stuff, has their own power cable, so we can affect that sound. We can affect the LPSU by changing it to another LPSU. We then, it just starts an endless game of good possibilities. So I want to expand on this idea. I hope you guys can follow me at this point. I want to explain why my friends set up the perfect setup. So we're going from the traditional setup of a streamer to his setup. Okay, I'm going to show you how this works. This has never been seen before on the internet. I'm going to show you this for the first time ever. This is the perfect setup that he has. It's hard to call it perfect. You can always make something better, but okay, it's my vision of a perfect setup. This is basically what he has done. And let me try and draw you his streamer. Normally people have a streamer that is whatever. This could be a name streamer, could be a blue sound streamer, whatever. That's just what people know as a streamer. It could also be Awenda, Alex. You get what I say, It could also be a do-it-yourself streamer that you've made yourself. It could be a laptop, it could be a normal computer, whatever. Let me explain something to you that no one has ever covered before on the internet. I'm going to draw you a streamer. That's what I'm going to do. This is a normal PC streamer. How can we draw this? Here we have the PSU, which is the power supply. And here we have the MB, which I would call the motherboard. And let's just keep it that simple so you guys can follow me, so I don't make it too confusing. And then you usually, what would you do? Then you would either take, then you would take like a cable from this, and we're just going to call this a DAC, okay, digital analog converter. And this is a USB cable. That's how most people will do it. Sometimes they will also do something else. This is, I'm so good at this. This is a sound card. You can also do it in that way. You can take a sound card and this could be instead. This could be a different solution. This could be solution number 2, solution number 1. And let's just call this a jack/phono cable or Toslink SPDIF cable or whatever, you know. That's how you usually would do it. There are these different alternatives. You have to understand, I've done this experiment with my friend. You have to understand that this is a compromised design, which is absolutely horrible, specifically for high quality music. And this is why. The PSU that we normally have in our designs, typically they are called, what are they called? ATX cabinets, PSUs. These could be like Corsair, whoever makes. Now I can't remember who makes PSUs on the market. Oh yeah, EVGA, something like that. Seasonic, yeah, Seasonic. Seasonic makes some of the best LPSUs, not LPSUs, ATX PSUs on the market, you know? These are like standard boxes that we have that power our PC. I hope you get it. Of course, the more that you pay, oh great, that's how it works. The Corsair one would probably cost like $100, and the Seasonic one, let's say $300. And of course, you could do this, okay? You could upgrade from like a Corsair to a Seasonic one, you know? And yeah, there would be a tiny difference in sound. Sound would be a tiny bit less distorted, perhaps a tiny bit more natural. But we've done the test, me and my friend. There isn't really a difference so that it's worth exploring this possibility. So what do you then do? Well, something very, very, very smart. This is what me and my friend found out. You basically take the sound card out of the PC. We're gonna make this easier. We're going to erase this. This never happened. La 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 la. This never happened. And we're going to take this outside of the PC. Huh? That's interesting, huh? Now we have, this could be Teradac LPSU. We're taking the box outside of the PC and giving it a much better linear power supply that is specifically meant for audio quality sound. This is a totally different level of sound. This is an LPSU that's probably like 5 to 10 times better in performance. You could get a thing like this for, I don't know, $1,000, maybe 2,000, whatever. This probably costs like 500 or to $2,000 US dollars. As soon as you do that, magic starts to happen. Potential starts to happen. What we then do now is we have to figure some way of getting this signal over to the DAC so it is as good as possible. We found out that sound card doesn't really work that good. Onboard USB to DAC also doesn't work really that good. I mean, they have two different types of sounds. They could sound different. Yeah, we've tried it. You're nowhere near the max potential of how streaming can sound when you do this. This is where you're opening up for a crazy world of sound. But it doesn't stop there. A manufacturer out there is called JCat. They make some cards. Can't remember if it's XE or FE card, but they have like a femto card, like 1,000 US dollars. That is supposed to be the main source of your signal. And how does this work? Well, let me have a look at it. Basically go with a USB cable. USB cable, that's USB, sorry. Over to another box. And what is that other box going to be called? Well, this is how I think it's done. I don't own this myself, so I can't remember the exact route. Use them again. Not the USB version. This is a clock box. So basically we're taking a perfect clock. This basically gives you like a basically good clock improvement on like level 10. Let's just call it level 10. And we then, this is an arrow, great arrow. Yay, you can make an arrow like that. It sends here from up to this device called an Uptown Audio ISO. I don't know what price is that. I really don't know. I think it's like, I don't know, $500. I really don't know. And then we shoot it from that. Yeah. Box over to another box. Which is a SP-diff converter. Gustard U16 or 2 times better box audio GDD20. Yeah. And this is like 500 to $1,000. That's how I think it works. That's how I think it works. And then I think, I'm not sure. I think it goes with a coax cable. Bear with me, guys. That's the arrow. To the DAC. So basically what we've done, we've taken a signal and we've amplified it like 10 times before it reaches the DAC. That's basically what we've done, you know. And especially the clock, we have a ridiculously good clock standard here. Again, upscaling it. You could, in theory, okay, don't want to confuse you guys, but this in theory has its own, oh great, LPSU box, power supply, linear power supply. And this could be like on 1 to 5 classes. You know, you can get 1 to 5 different classes of LPSU boxes, depending on the money, the time you have to test them. That's like, you can use years on just doing that. And yeah, you have your power cord, of course, connected to this, you know. And again, you could also have, like, let's just say 10 classes of power cords. Power cords, 10 classes, and, you know, the same over here, you know, like, whatever. Whatever, man. Why can't I find that on my Linux keyboard thingy? Wow, I don't really have that sign. Okay. Let's just write ditto. Okay, same as over here. So just realize when you're looking at this, the potential of classes of sound that you can go through throughout the years. It's like almost unlimited amount of potential. My friend did this, by the way, and he made a coax cable that was a lot better than standard coax cable. It helps a lot. And yeah, again, just to kind of spook you guys a bit, so you realize how incredibly good this is. My friend found out when he only used a shorter, high quality, let's just call it 50 centimeter coax cable. If this is a short, high quality coax cable, my God, will it just improve the performance by a lot. Same with the USB cable. If you have a shortish cable, 25 centimeters, 50 centimeters, it will be good. Of course, it depends on you having a good computer, a good card, everything, you know. Every time you're shorting down a cable, you're kind of exposing the equipment to a higher level of potential. So you have to have equipment around it that's good in order to milk it fully, you know. And, you know, these power cords that my friend uses, these are special power cords that he made himself. And these are like 100 centimeters long and high class, you know, high class. So all the power cables he has are high class, and they're slightly different, some of them. So just realize, look at this. This is how you make a really good streamer type of sound. Specifics on how you do it, how you deal with it, driver installation, and all of that, I can't share with you guys because I don't have enough experience doing this myself. This is what I've seen. These are products that already exist on the market. If you can create a scene like this, then you're getting into the highest level of sound. And these boxes here, you know, Gustad SP-Diff converter, you can get a box that is 2 times better than that, the Audio GD box. I know from my friend that he heard that there are other German boxes that are more expensive, like 2,000 bucks. I can't remember if they're called Mutek or whatever they're called. They could also potentially be a lot better, but you never know until you've connected it and you've tried the LPSU that comes with it and the power cables that you either bought or created yourself. You have it. This is like a freaky mad scientist experiment that you have to that you have to deal with. Let me just tell you another thing that I also know. This is where's the router? Oh, it's over here. Before it gets into the router here, this is like the customer's own box from their internet supplier, the CPE, what they call it, you know, the fiber box on the wall, whatever you call it, you know. Again, not to spook you guys, but you can also put an improved whoa, didn't get that one on. You can put an improved LPSU on that thing. And again, this helps a lot, guys. You have to know this helps really a lot. You can put an FMC converter between these two parts and the router. I'm just gonna put it over here so you can see what it's called. FMC converter. And then you can again put your own LPSU to that. It makes the sound a hell of a lot better. I've heard it myself. Can you realize the potential of good sound here? Can you see how ridiculous this is? Every time you put a new LPSU on, you're basically getting a sound that's almost 2 times better. And if you're putting it on all of these things here and have these improved cables, and by the way, I recommend that everybody that tries this, they have at least 2 or 3 different interesting good cables to power cables to go with it, you know. And also coax cables, SPD cables, and also guys, you can in theory bypass this part and go beyond, go past this clock box and just go directly here over here. You'll get a different sound, and it usually won't have as good as a timing, structure, black level. You kind of need this audio, Uptown Audio ISO Regent box. You can do this. My friend told me that it is possible to do this, but he said that it became a lot better once he got this Uptown Audio ISO Regent box. So that's what you want to do. That is the smart thing to do. Uptown Audio ISO Regent, boom, over to the SP-Diff converter, and then again over like that. That's how I understood it, you know. Don't ask me about specifics. I don't know more than what's on this image. I just know that if audio companies wanted to give you one box like Name, Blue Sound, Orenda, Auralix, whatever they're called, if they had to like figure out one box that does all of this, which they wouldn't be able to, they wouldn't be able to give you near the same performance just by using one box. If they had to create all of this into that box, know this, that box would most likely cost $50K US dollars plus. I mean, I'm pretty sure about that. Okay, so this is something that, you know, not the faint of heart people start on. You know, this is pretty hardcore. Which is pretty hardcore. So yeah, you basically want to cut off Wi-Fi, want to cut off streaming service online. You want to have your local storage, either on your NAS or on your streamer. And yeah, if you can do this later in the future, fine. But this is like the most important part. This is the holy grail to making streamer sound so much better. And these products already are on the market, you know. Just trying to figure out, could we make this even better? I mean, I heard from my friend that you could take the router over here and you can go take like a really expensive router, put an even more expensive power box on it. If you could, in theory, take the clock out of it, give it its own LPSU, that could also help. You could put battery supplied caps that turn on and off the box, so when you're using the equipment, it doesn't use direct power to the router. It uses like this sophisticated battery system with you know, silver super caps or whatever. That does help, you know, stuff like that does help, but you're on your own there. You have to kind of figure that out, how you're going to do that. And that, you know, making a thing like that by yourself could be pretty dangerous, could cause a fire. So, you know, you got to do what's legal and figure out the possibilities there. But endless amounts of possibilities. And I know that my friend has a lot more things that he's been testing that affects the sound. You could test for like forever on with LPSUs. Like if you have like 5 classes of LPSUs, you could go like forever and test, I don't know, 1,000 boxes. You probably won't get like 1,000 different types of sounds. I'm guessing you would only get like I'm guessing you would only get like 20 slightly different sounds. Yeah. That's what I guess. And these LPSU boxes, you know, they usually cost at least $100 or $200 bucks per piece. So, yeah. That is basically how you do it. I mean, you could also, you know, I know that he's done this. You could also go like for RAM blocks. Special audio file. Oh wow, I'm really hitting it today. You could just keep on digging and digging into this, and because I don't ever think we're gonna get this as an official product on the market, because it's just so complicated. I don't think any company would like to jump into this and try and make this work. I don't think they have the balls to do that. But you could take the RAM, and you can put some audiophile RAM in it, you know. And usually, like I said with my videos, the higher quality board you have, the higher quality RAM you have, the faster speeds of RAM speeds matter a lot. high frequency CPU matters a lot. So if you can go like into the BIOS and lock the CPU to like, I don't know, 4 gigahertz or something like that, and if you on top of that have a passive cooling, so you don't have any fans on it, again, reducing noise, it gets a lot better. Again, can you make the sound better? Of course, you can put on the streamer here, you can put it like on a SSD disk, music on an SSD disk or a mechanical disk. They will both sound different depending on the cache that they have, the manufacturing quality, how they interface. Mechanical hard disk. Looks really good. That changes, XF card, using an XF card instead of mechanical hard disk and SSD. All of this makes a difference, everything makes a difference. And I also heard from my friend that doing all of this, you could in theory skip this box, skip this box, skip these things here, and just by having this big Teradyne LPSU on it, and because you have a really good high quality board, you could in theory just take like a jack cable from that motherboard directly over to the DAC, and you would have like a really high level improved sound. You could do that. My friend did that. It's in one way it sounded really good, a lot better than standard sound cards, and even these more expensive sound cards. It really was interesting. I also want to say that, not to confuse you guys too much, but before, when he had a sound card, I'm just gonna call this a sound card, what he noticed was he tried to test some of the best sound cards on the market. AudioNode, EVGA, New Sound, I think it's called New Audio, I can't remember what it's called. And all of these like Asus, Sound Blaster models, they all kind of sounded substantially better than motherboard sound, without a doubt. But what he noticed was that because you can't connect an LPSU here, because you can't connect an LPSU to these boxes here, LPSU, because you can't connect an LPSU box to the sound card, because the sound card has to take the power from the what do you call it, the shitty ATX power supply, ATX or whatever it's called, depending on the cabinet size you have, because you're feeding the motherboard the power from this thing, which the motherboard has to feed the port that the sound card is running on. Because of that, you're only milking like 1/10 of the power that is on that sound card. So even if that sound card has a DA converter, D/A DA converter, it doesn't matter. You won't get that naturality, that grip, that power, that control where you're getting deep into the picture, into the soundstage picture. That's a problem. That we realize that. So sound cards, do they matter? Of course they matter on a lower level. Compared to normal onboard sound cards, of course they're better. But you'll never get into this crazy sound, like crazy good sound like this. Sound cards, they're fine. When you think about AudioNode's EVGA New Sound sound cards, they're fine. It's a bit like having a Blue Sound, Aurenda, Auralix type of streamer. It's a bit like that, it's on that level, and they usually cost 2, 5, 10, 20,000 bucks, you know, and you can do it for like a fraction of the price with a sound card. And if you have like, you know, like a TeraDAC LPSU here, it can make this whole computer thing sound like an expensive Aurenda or Auralix streamer. That's my opinion, you know. But again, it's such a far stretch away from this whole sound where you have a JCAT USB sound card that is the original part of the sound, going over to a uptone audio isoregent box, which gets boosted by an LPSU that is a good LPSU that you found, not the standard one that came with it, but an upgraded one. And then it sends it over via an SPDIF converter to this. And oh yeah, that's another thing I forgot. You know, his SPDIF converter, as far as I know, it has a GPS clock. And where you get that GPS clock, I have no idea. Look at the Gusted U16 and figure that out. I have no idea, guys. GPS clock. You saw that on that other video that I made. You know, that 9.99999 megahertz thing. You know, they just run coax. I think it's coax 50 ohm cable, because if you use the 6075 ohm that is usually recommended, it somehow sounds worse, even though it's not recommended. I can't remember why. But again, huge difference. That makes this SPDIF converter like 2.5 times better. You know, and this is how the streaming world, this is why, what was the video called? This is why streaming is stuck in the Stone Age, because of this. No one really has the balls to do this, you know. They'd rather just have their Blue Sound thing with their Wi-Fi to their router directly. Wait a minute. Streaming service, router, Blue Sound, DAC amp speakers. And you know, when you're doing that, you know, you're just taking noise and amplifying it all through the chain. And yeah, there'll be a bit of filtering in the amp and the DAC and all of that, but it'll be on such a low level that you're basically listening to flat surface details. So, I mean, fine, you know, Blue Sound, Aurenda, Auralix, that's a fine start. You know, it's better than basic sound card sound. But again, you know, I'd rather have a normal streamer with a $500 TeraDAC LPSU into an Audio Notes EVGA sound card than have something like especially a Blue Sound streamer or an Aurenda or Auralix. It's just a lot cheaper. You're basically getting that same type of sound, just a lot cheaper. So that's how it works. That's how the best streaming solution will work. Will there ever be a company that offers all of this in one box? I don't think so. And I think that if it does, it won't be good, because you have to separate, you have to create this hell of so many connections in order to improve the whole source signal. Basically, this is like the source signal. We're like doubling up on this on like 10 times compared to the normal expensive CD players that are out there, or turntables, or normal streamers on the market. It's a better standard than that. Once you've done this, we're up in, you know, Audio Note standards, you know, mid to high level standards, you know. But yeah, I still don't think a lot of people will do this. You know, I think it's too time demanding. They probably think it's expensive and it isn't plug and play and all of that. You know, it takes a very special person who's very curious, has a lot of willpower and a bit of money, time, patience, all of that to do this. And we did it, we created a sound that's basically beats all the stores in the world, with most best setups that they have. There might be like a store or two or three out there that of course beats our sound, because we don't have the best gear on the market, not anywhere close with the speakers and the amplifier and the DAC. This is the DAC that my guy has, my friend has. It's just a built-in $100 DAC in his Yamaha surround receiver. Just think how ridiculous that sounds. That this whole process here basically makes a $100 DAC sound like something that's like, I don't know, $50,000 DAC from Audio Note. It kind of simulates that sound. Of course, the Audio Note is different in its own way. I would still like to have like a top Audio Note setup instead, with Audio Note DAC, amplifier, speaker, all of that stuff, and also CD player. But we're up in like the $1 million class, to do that. So that's why I prefer this solution, trying to do this. So yeah. So conclusion: if you've got money, spend money on the Audio Note thing. It's just so much easier. But if you haven't got money and you want to save, you want to go through the whole process of figuring out what's what, and you willing to be a mad scientist, do this. You could also get RAM blocks that are audiophile filtered RAM blocks that you put in. You could also go up like to next generation RAM, which makes everything sound a lot better. You can get a faster hard disk with a bigger cache or a smaller cache. That also affects the sound. You could get audiophile Linux on this instead of Windows. Again, it makes a huge difference. You can go into Chrome and you can put it with you can make Chrome with YouTube run without hardware acceleration. It again makes it better. You can deactivate all the background services that are running on the PC. You can do that. You can do so many things when you got a streamer, and that's why I like this solution, because it's just endless. It's an endless game. And isn't that fun? Isn't that what we really want in the hi-fi world? So by doing this, you don't need a DAC that is a level level 100 DAC to be happy. You could settle with like a level 10 DAC out of like 100 in order to be happy, because that can simulate a level 100. Simply because of this whole thing here, because the DAC in the end almost doesn't do anything to the signal, because the signal is pretty much perfect before it arrives to the DAC. Isn't that just amazing? And on top of that, because the DAC is probably integrated to the amplifier, and the amplifier is decent and it has a good power cord, and that's the thing I wanted to share with you guys. Okay, you might think that this is like the most insane thing you've ever thought, but this is just going to make it like even better. You're not going to believe it. So we have your circuit breaker over here, which powers your power bar. So it goes like amplifier, DAC, streamer, whatever. But this is cool. This is cool. If you have your dedicated circuit group here, and all the other circuit breakers that you have go to the rest of your house, like whatever, that's gonna of course boost your sound. But this is what's really, really, really cool. If you have like an extra circuit breaker to an extra power bar here, and you like take this away, the streamer, see what I mean? If you put the streamer on its own power bar, and this is not just a power bar, let's just say it's better than normal power bar, this entire setup here just gets a hell of a lot better, because all of this PC sound feedback thingy does not go back to the amplifier. It doesn't interact with it. It takes care of its own stuff before it gets sent over to the amplifier via the other thing. Isn't that cool? And you know, you could also power up all of these boxes here and have all of these LPSU boxes on like its own power bar, on its own circuit breaker circuitry, like here and here, and the Terra back here. You could do that, you know. Again, you're just like doubling up on the sound effect. Isn't that cool? I mean, what you're looking at here is audio heaven. You know, it's the best ever sound in the world. It doesn't really get better than this, you know. And I wish that what I've created here, this picture that I've created here, I wish that most manufacturers would learn from this and would take this whole process that I did with the streamer. If they did that whole process with perhaps the DAC or the CD sound or something like that, or digital amplifiers, Class D amplifiers, if they did that somehow in a similar way, man, would we just have a much, much better sound as a standard. So yeah, let me wrap up with that. And yeah, this is probably gonna be the most important video ever on my channel. So take a picture of it. You know, it's you might think that this is expensive and difficult, but think of it in a different way. If someone had to sell you this solution, how many thousands of bucks extra would you have to pay to get that into a one solution box? You really have to think about that, because if Apple or Google or whatever company decided to do this in a one box solution that sounded as good, you would pay at least 10 times more for this solution. But you know, it's open. You guys should try it. And you know, I'm just gonna you know, become a bit more weird. Just for a second here. Just think, LPSU boxes. What if that was an audio note tube linear power supply? Huh? You getting what? You getting what I'm saying here? You know, again, you know, like 2-3 times more better sound. You know, imagine audio note linear power supplies on gusset box, SPDIF converter, Optime Audio, Isoregen, NAS, external drive, or a streamer, or DAC, whatever. Just think about the possibilities, you know. Oh, okay, long video, but yeah, this is probably the most important video on my channel. And oh, I keep on remembering an extra thing. Sorry, guys. You can also, the cables that you're running with on the router here, where the hell are we? These cables, change them to Cat 8 cables. Or make your own audiophile cables with better plug. You don't have to necessarily buy expensive ones, but if you've got like a low standard, change those suckers out to Cat 8. And you know that there is a difference between the different Cat 8 cables. But why is there a difference? Well, when you reach this level of insanity, everything reacts like 10, 15, 20 times more than when you started going into hi-fi. And then you should start looking into Cat cables, Cat 8 cables, special audiophile Cat 8 cables. Make your own Cat 8 cables. You don't have to necessarily use a lot of money on that, but that's when sound starts to make a big difference on what I call digital cables. You know, USB cables, coax cables, LAN cables, stuff like that. You know. So yeah, I don't think there's other stuff. We could of course go perhaps a bit deeper into this, but I don't think it's necessary, you know. You could also like go with a power box into another power box. Then you have, it will also create different sounds. Like if there was only two power boxes and these two were feeding those two over here, or whatever, something like that. It would also create a slightly different sound, and you could just like forever create different sounds. You could create like your own definition of 5-10 different sounds that you want your hi-fi system to sound like, So yeah, this is probably the best value video on my channel, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy it, and perhaps one day my friend will have made this solution, so you don't have to go through all of this trouble. I'll try and cheer him on and do that. I know that he has other more complex ways of tweaking the sound that I haven't even covered here, that are far more into that deep sound. But now you kind of get the gist of it, why he hasn't yet released the product. But yeah, hopefully one day he will. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a nice day.